There we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Facebook Live, YouTube.com, Kevin Olenick, Spreaker.com, Kevole, Soundcloud.com, Kevole, and you can also, of course, follow me on Twitter, Kevole, Instagram, Kevole, as well as Gab now, Kevole. Um, quite an interesting weekend this weekend. If you were a sports person, especially a follower of the NFL, and there are a lot of people with some different opinions about what happened this weekend. So to go back Friday in a speech in Alabama, Donald Trump called players that did not stand for the national anthem, players like Colin Kaepernick. He said that he called them sons of bitches, and it caused a big uproar in the National Football League and in the sporting world. And many teams did a number of different things yesterday in response. Some teams went and locked arms together, including their owners. Some teams decided to not head out for the national anthem and stay inside the locker room, which was the tradition, by the way, before 2009. 2009 was when players came out into the public and we watched and were part of the singing of the national anthem and were on the field. Before, they used to not be on the field. Before 2009. That's a little did you know. Some people supported the decision and felt, including military veterans in the United States, that they had the right to express their freedom of speech and express their concern for some of the events and things that are going on in the US and around the world, specifically around racism. And some people felt it was very disrespectful to the flag and the service of the people that fought for that flag. It doesn't, I mean, I guess it does matter where you stand on this, I guess, because I think it's a important discussion. I know that one of the arguments that was made was the idea that if you as an employer did something that was disrespectful, if you're disrespectful, or would you go and protest on your employer, like the way that these millionaires, quote unquote, air quote, would do. And my response to that, just quickly, is if the president of your company, if the president and the CEO of your company called a colleague of yours a son of a bitch in a public event, and you sat and you did nothing, what does that say about you? Would you sit and just ignore it and go on with your workday? Or would you at least consider some sort of response in a constructive manner? They didn't do anything necessarily, nothing that happened yesterday was necessarily out of bounds or outside. It was trying to be as respectful as possible to something that was utterly disrespectful. So, so if you, what are you expecting? These are people that spend, I mean, they in terms of football players, they spend like pretty much 24/7 with each other. They spend a lot of time together in the weight room, going through film, going through practice, and then they go through the game. You in your work environment, you spend 8 to 10 hours a day, 40 to 50 hours of work on average a week. And if the president of your company said something about a colleague that you work with, and you just ignored it and decided that that was okay, there's something wrong with that, I think. That with no action, with no action, you've said more about yourself than you did even about what the president and the CEO said. So I don't think that anything was done yesterday with any ill intent or disrespect or crudeness, and when military veterans are saying you know what, I understand where you're coming from, and I fought for you to support the right to have that freedom. Maybe that's something to consider. But let's bring this to somewhat of a conclusion of a question. And it's the question around the idea of playing the national anthem at sporting events. Specifically here in Canada, we do, it happens, and in the playoffs anyway for Canadian teams, the Canadian national anthem has been used in a way to get the crowd excited. Here in Vancouver, there was a great singer who twirled the towel and got everyone going. Happened in Calgary, happens in Edmonton, happens in Winnipeg. It happens everywhere. The Canadian national anthem seems to get the Canadian fans rolling. But we also have a league that has Canadians, mostly, Americans, which we do play the national anthem if it's an American, two of the most famous Vancouver Canucks in history are from Sweden. We have players from Finland. We have players from Russia, and all across the world. So I'm just bringing this up as a question because we've also been hearing that it's politics and sports don't mix, and politics shouldn't be involved in the sporting event. And that's maybe another topic for another time, or maybe it is a theme of this topic. But is it time to consider removing the national anthems from sporting events? What are your thoughts on that? Go to on my Facebook. Of course, if you're on Facebook Live, you can comment there. Twitter.com, KEVOLE, Spreaker.com, KEVOLE, Soundcloud.com, KEVOLE, and comment below. If there are any comments of what I've said, I'd like to just quickly read them. Someone, I got the last half of this. I don't know who said this. Today, Trump is for you for yelling, swearing, and fake fire in American athletics on national television. Those athletes are more of a real man than you, Trump. You are just a buffed up namby-pamby president. I don't know who said that, but I think you summed up a lot of people's opinion with that. And I don't see any. When people join on Facebook Live, I never get a chance to see the comments. I got to fix that somehow. Certainly a way to do that. But what do you think? Should we stop playing the national anthem at sporting events? Comment below. Comment on YouTube, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Thanks for listening or watching. Have a great day. Oops.